Hello everybody, welcome to Tractor of the Year 2021 and welcome to the second of our 3 episodes dedicated to a specific topic. Today's topic is driving experience. My name is Pietro and we are streaming live from Italy. I hope you all have watched our Tractor of the Year launch event and our last episode about connectivity. In case you missed it, you can of course watch it again at totydigital.com. In our previous episodes, we have learned a lot about connectivity applied to our sector. The evolution of tractors coming with it leads to a new and somehow different driving experience too. And this is what we are talking about today. In this episode, we will talk with highly interesting guests. One of them is our studio guest. He's the former head of Quattro Ruote road testing. By the way, Quattro Ruote is Italy's most important automobile magazine. Welcome, Mr. Carlo Bellatti.
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody.
Well, it is no secret that the automotive industry is moving towards fully autonomous and self-driving vehicles. And over the next decades, these vehicles will revolutionize transportation and mobility as we know them today. Vehicles and equipment are already becoming more and more sophisticated. They are adapting to driving preferences and so on. However, some people find it difficult to use all this technology and would prefer solutions that are less complex and easier to handle. Carlo, as an experienced tester for all sorts of vehicles, you're a real expert in terms of driving experience. So what is your opinion on today's matter?
Well, it's a very good point to stress out because the implementation of new safety features, new capabilities of the car is becoming difficult because they are very different and they are very difficult to integrate and to interact with the driver because there are complex situations, complex activities to do. For example, autonomous driving is something that is related to the driver, but is much more related to the environment, the car. And the most challenging part for car manufacturers is to integrate those new functions in a user experience, a user interface that is adapted to everybody, because everybody is a driver, and you do not have to have a particular skill, or you have to be a computer engineer to use these devices. So probably the most difficult part is not the hardware part, but the software part, the part that is related directly to the interaction with the driver. In my opinion, not all the drivers are accepting this system, especially when the systems are not engineered so good, or maybe it are engineered in a way that is much more a computer engineer way to describe, to implement the system rather than a normal user.
All right. Now, let's hear some of our jury members. The first one is João Sobral from Portugal, who will explain these concepts from the agricultural point of view.
Hello, everyone. It is a great pleasure to be here for this Tractor of the Year 2021 edition. My name is João Sobral and I represent the Portuguese magazine A Bolsa Mia. In the last few years, I spent several weeks with my colleagues in the jury testing tractors in the field. And we are witnessing fast and remarkable advances in terms of driving experience. Normal driving will have a space among small and medium-scale farmers, but for professionals, autonomous driving will become more relevant. Nowadays, high-spec tractors are fitted with auto-guidance, with headland management systems, and even the turnings can be made in automatic modes. The driver has now the chance to adapt the machine to its individual needs. To be an operator is no longer simply about driving and manage implements. It's also about configuration. The driver is more and more a skilled professional, adjusting settings and monitoring the work in progress. Here, there is a challenge for the manufacturers. Sophisticated machines must keep intuitive and easy to use. We are now in the middle of an impressive revolution in terms of driving, with more news on the way. Inside this so fascinating context, in Tractor of the Year, we will keep following the state of the art to recognize the most significant advances. That's all from my side. Now back to you in the studio.
Obrigado, João. Thank you very much. Well, Carl, you're probably not an expert in farming equipment, but
Not
we
at
would
all.
appreciate a brief comment on what you've just heard.
Well, the point that Joao was stressing is important. Easy of use is the word. And sometimes it is not completely performed, this task. I make you an example. For some car manufacturers decided to integrate the climate control of the cabin in the touch screen. And so to change the temperature inside of the cabin, you have to push 3 times the display. And this is a maneuver that is not natural for us. So I would prefer to have a different approach for different kind of command. For example, if you wanted to calibrate the temperature or to adjust the volume of your radio, it should be necessary to have some discrete commands, some physical commands to touch and to use, because it's very much more natural to use this. For other sophisticated functions like navigation system or entertainment, it is possible to use easily the touch screen. But it depends on the level of the frequency of use of these devices that should be imagined as a driver though. Climate is something that is quite common to use, and so it should be very easy to reach.
All right. Well, Carlo, thank you very much. Tractors are high-power vehicles, no doubt about that. Well, this leads me to a special guest who drives a slightly different kind of high-power vehicle. So let's jump across the pond to United States and welcome the driver of Gravedigger, the most famous monster truck competing in the Monster Jam series, Adam Anderson. Hello from Italy. How are you?
I'm doing great. How about you guys?
We're doing great as well. Thank you very much. So where exactly are you? I mentioned the United States, but not exactly where you are connected from.
So I'm right now I'm at what is called Digger's Dungeon, where we house Gravedigger, and the area where my father, Dennis Anderson, had created Gravedigger. I'm sitting in the shop right now and just hanging out. Honored to be on the show.
So where exactly is the Digger Dungeon?
The Digger's Dungeon, we are located on the Outer Banks of North Carolina. So we're right on the ocean.
Okay. Well, I must say it's cool to have you here in our show, and coming from the world of tractors, all of our viewers, of course, love the sound of roaring engines, those gigantic tires, and the jaw-dropping stunts you guys perform. The topic of today's episode is driving experience. And so we are curious to learn about your daily driving experience with Gravedigger.
So my daily driving experience is I wouldn't consider it the daily or the norm. It's a pretty unbelievable ride. The best way to describe it is a roller coaster, and the track just ends, and you're strapped in for the ride. And it's a lot of fun. It's one of the biggest adrenaline rushes you could ever have. And there's no other motorsport that can touch what Monster Jam and what Team Gravedigger can do.
So what role do tires play in all of this?
It's a massive role. That's what makes a Monster Jam truck, is the 66-inch tall, 43-inch wide, 25-inch wheel. And thanks to BKT, they have developed a Monster Jam tire.
Yeah, coming to that Monster Jam tire, how is it to drive that specific tire?
It's unbelievable. The technology that's behind the tires has actually enabled us to have better technologies in the trucks now. We can control the trucks better with suspension, with steering, and all the feedback that we give to BKT. In turn, they keep wanting to develop the best tire possible to perform on the track. And it's really been an awesome help for us as performers and doing unbelievable stunts.
All right. When it comes to those unbelievable stunts with your monster trucks, I think, and actually I hope, that safety is the #1 aspect to consider. So what safety technologies are you guys using, and how are these technologies affecting your driving experience?
The biggest safety technology that has been developed in the past couple of years with Monster Jam has been the self-contained seat, and they're specifically tailored to every driver. So that seat is built completely around me. we get measured up and fitted, and they even do a foam pour. So you sit in the seat and they pour foam around you to expand, so you're encapsulated in this truck, enabling yourself, because before we were being jostled around. Well, now we can actually see where we're going to perform these unbelievable stunts, and that's what's taken it to the next level. But then also having the safety around us, from fire suppressant to unbelievable roll cages. We're in there like in a capsule that nothing can touch us.
So those seats force you to keep your weight throughout the entire season, isn't it?
It does. And thankfully, because of these seats, our seasons are getting longer now.
Okay. Well, Adam, thank you very much. It's been really cool talking to you, and best of luck for the coming races.
Thank you guys so much. It was an honor to be on.
Carlo, would you fancy test drive such a monster truck?
Well, it is an experience that I'm keen to do this, because it's incredible kind of vehicles. And I'm really also curious about the technology that stay behind this kind of vehicle, because the mechanical stress that this vehicle has, is unbelievable. You know, there are many motor shows in the world, like Geneva, Paris, or Frankfurt, but the best of all, in my opinion, is the SEMA of Las Vegas. That is the place where American brings their vehicles transformed in an incredible manner, with tires big like this and suspension 2 meters high, and it's an incredible place to understand the technology and the spirit and the passion that stays behind this kind of vehicle. And it would be very interesting, definitely.
So it's again time to hear a contribution of one of our jury members. He will talk about innovation, about concrete and recent facts and aspects. He comes from the UK, and his name is Matthew Tilt.
Hello, my name is Matthew Tilt, and I represent farm contractor and large-scale farmer in the UK. I'm here to talk about how the latest innovations have improved the driving experience for the operator. Without doubt, technology has revolutionised our industry and will continue to do so, bringing greater precision to the way we farm, and with this, the effect on the operator cannot be overstated. Using guidance systems and cruise control reduces operator fatigue, meaning that they can work safely for longer. This means that more work can be completed by a smaller team, a crucial point for our industry as farm sizes continue to grow, and the labour market shrinks. When the latest camera systems are linked to the in-cab terminal, the operator has a full view of their surrounding area. Furthermore, manufacturers continue to focus on visibility during cabin design, so that we can clearly see the operation at hand, whether it is a compact tractor loading bales or a 500 horsepower machine pulling a 12-metre cultivator. In these unprecedented times, we have also seen operator safety improved by technology in a way we may not have expected. Many manufacturers now offer remote display access to the in-cab terminals to monitor error codes and potential failures. This not only improves response times for maintenance work, it may also prove key to keeping our industry running in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. Remote display access can be used to limit time on farm for technicians, reducing contact while keeping our machines working. It is a privilege to be part of Tractor of the Year and see firsthand how these innovations and novelties have helped our industry to progress. That's all from me. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you very much, Matthew Tilt from the UK. Carlo, how important are cameras or sensors in general in today's vehicles?
Are very, very important. Cameras, sensor, radars, lidars, ultrasonic sensor are the base and the network for safety and for the future project of autonomous driving. The car itself should have the sensor to substitute and to prevent, to invent also the situation where the car is and the driver is, to react in the presence of danger, or to drive the car in a situation where a driver is not completely, cannot pay attention completely to the road, for example, when he's tired. And those cameras, those sensors, are not only the hardware, but it's the software important that stay behind them. It's very important because they have to rely on some kind of artificial intelligence to, for example, to be able to recognize a pedestrian from a car or from a signal, because this meaning of driving, this signal for driving, are very important to decide what kind of intervention the autopilot or the autonomous driving should do on the car without asking to the driver what to do. They have to be very intelligent. They need some kind of sensors.
Right. Thank you very much, Carlo. Well, Carlo, now I have a big surprise for you and for our viewers, because we're about to connect with another very special guest. He is no one less than Italian Formula One driver Antonio Giovinazzi. Hello and welcome, Antonio.
Thank you. Hello to everyone.
Antonio, I've already asked Adam where he is, so same question goes out to you. Where are you right now?
I'm back home, back in south of Italy, where my family is here. So yeah, just last days before finally the season will start soon. So then I will go back to Monaco, where I live, January, and start the season finally.
Okay, cool. So Antonio, for us, Formula One means extreme speed, bold maneuvers, hard brakings, extreme forces and stress for pilots, parts, and tires. But how does a pilot experience all of this? What is your personal driving experience during a race or during qualifying or a test?
Yeah, of course, speed means a lot for Formula One cars. It's everything there. But of course, for me, it's mostly like a passion. I started when I was really young, and from go-kart especially, and then I grew up, and finally, I achieved my dream. That was Formula One. Formula One is a car with a lot of horsepower, of course, but also with a lot of downforce, and this means a lot of grip. So when you are driving on a Formula One car, especially in qualifying session, you can feel, all the power there, all the grip, and it's something amazing, to feel that grip. And plus, on the race is a completely different things, because you need to manage so many things, from the tires, from the engine, also the overtake to the other drivers. And plus, we have a really sophisticated steering wheel with a lot of buttons where you can change so many things from the energy you give to the engine. You can change the differential, so you can do so many things. We can do more than 100 change on the steering wheel, and this means also during a lap in the race, when maybe you are fighting for a position and your engineering call you to change a map for differential, a map for the engine. So it's not a easy things, and for me it took few races, before I was doing this by automatic, almost, because you need to study, you need to be almost like an engineer to drive the new car, the new Formula One car.
So you need to become one with your car. Sounds complicated, but must be amazing. Antonio, how long have you been racing? I mean, in general, not only in Formula One.
So yeah, like I say, I started when I was really young. I was 3 years old when I started with a small go-kart, and after that, I did karting for many years, almost 10 years, and then finally I did the next step, Formula car. So I started with Formula 4, 1 year, and then 2 years Formula 3, then Formula 2, and then finally Formula 1. So it was not an easy way. Especially, Formula One is not an easy world, because it's only 20 drivers in the world, so it's not much space there. But finally, when I signed for the first time in Formula One, it was with Ferrari, with Scuderia Ferrari, like a third driver, like a development driver for Scuderia Ferrari. And for an Italian driver to sign for Ferrari was, the maximum that I could achieve. So I'm really happy from where I started and where I'm now. But of course, I wanted more. Finally, next month I will start my second year in Formula One, and I'm looking forward to have a good result this year.
Well, first of all, congratulations for your career so far. So you have been racing for quite a bit of time. Would you say that today's driving experience is different compared to some years ago, or a lot different?
Unfortunately, I never test old car. The oldest one was the 2015 car, so it's still quite a new car with a hybrid engine, especially. So of course, the engine especially was completely different in the past, especially the V8 engine, the V10 engine, compared to the one we have now. But still, Formula One car, so still a fast car with a lot of grip. So, honestly, I would like to test an older car, like especially the 2005, 2006 cars with a V8 engine. But I think now we are using the faster car in Formula One. We beat all the lap record in every race weekend. So I'm really lucky to drive this new Formula One car.
Okay, well, thank you very much for being with us, Antonio, and good luck for the season that luckily is going to start soon.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, luckily we will start soon.
Carlo, a quick answer from your side without too much thinking. If you could choose between test driving a monster truck or a Formula One car, which one would you prefer?
Well, I drove a lot of fast cars during my career, but I'm sure not at the level that you need to drive a Formula One car. I'm not the kind of driver that is superhuman, in my opinion, like Antonio, because they are very, very, I don't know, I think that they have some special qualities. And in my opinion, it's much more easy to approach to a monster car than a Formula One.
Okay, so maybe one day we will read a test drive article coming from Carlo about testing a monster truck. Now let's watch together a video from one of our next jury member, Klaus Meyer from Germany. In his video, he talks about the changes in driving experience over the course of time.
Yes, I definitely can. Thank you so much for having us back this year. We at Traction Magazine, of course, like to monitor very closely how driving experience is changing over time. And we have found a bit of a contradiction. See, farm machinery these days basically knows how to drive itself. It knows where to go, how to work the land, and when to turn around on the headland. Experts say we're a good 5 to 10 years ahead of the car industry in this segment. And yet, when we go to see operators in the field, they seem to be using very few of these modern-day features. They say it's often easier to just do things manually. So how good a tractor will work for you these days is no longer just a question of horsepower, quality of build, or even software, but of how easy it is to understand. And with that, back to the studio.
Vielen Dank nach Deutschland. Klaus Meyer has mentioned quite an interesting point. Carlo, do you have sometimes the impression that too much technology could be counterproductive, especially for, let's say, normal people, normal users that just drive to go to work or to go buy groceries?
Well, as I said before, it depends a lot how do you fit the technology in the car. It's a matter of interfaces. And in my opinion, there should be different level of interfaces. Today, in a car of the present, we have for sure a touch screen, but also some discrete commands. We have voice commands that should be another very nice way to command your car, to make things happen without any particular skill of using the main board, the main dashboard, or the capacity to program a system like was told before. Even more modern are gesture commands, and a lot of car manufacturers are thinking about the possibility to use some of the function of your car only moving your hand. That's my opinion. The technology is quite good, also because it's related in a very important way to our safety, but it should be implemented in different layers. One of the layers is the most we are used to, like the smartphone, so just touch a screen. Another one is to use the traditional commands of the car. Another one is the voice command, and another one could be gesture or something that is related to your natural behavior in the car.
We have one more jury member we would like to introduce. She's Renata Prusina from Croatia, and she has quite an interesting opinion on the driving experience from the point of view of a woman.
And now it's time for a woman's point of view. My name is Renata Prusina and I'm jury member from Croatia, and I'm honored to be with you in this digital edition of Tractor of the Year. Since 1998, Toty jury tested almost 300 tractors and witnessed evolution of technology and solutions, which also contribute to evolution of driving experience. Until recently, farming was a hard work that only strong men could handle. Today's elegant but functional design of modern tractors, in synergy with sophisticated technology, also allowed female farmers to tame these powerful beasts, practically with 2 fingers on steering wheel, a couple of slides on the touchscreen, or pressing a few buttons on multifunctional armrest or joystick. Driving experience is changing, not only in favor of saving fuel and protecting environment, more comfort and safety, but also in favor of ergonomics, which contribute to the preservation of drivers' health. It has been proven that operators will have less heart problems due to minimal engine vibrations on steering wheel, less noise in cabin will save hearing, adjustable seats or armrest will save farmers from chronic pain in legs or hands. Bottom line, all wonders of modern technology makes tractor a more comfortable working place for a long working day and makes driving experience much more pleasant and woman-friendly. However, with automation and digitalization, the industry seems to be going in the direction of remotely operated and autonomous driving tractors. That's all for me. And line goes back to studio.
Thank you very much, or hvala, Renata Prusina from Croatia. Carlo, in your job as a test driver, have you ever had the impression that men and women may not have the same requirements?
Well, I don't want to fall in stereotypes of women and men at the steering wheel, but there is a point of difference, and this is the perception of safety. Male drivers are much more keen to take in consideration the aspects of the car that are related to performances, to style, to equipment. Female drivers are much more interested in safety. And you can see very easily when you go to a dealer and you discuss with the dealer about his different kind of customers, and he always say that female driving are very conspicuous about safety contents, autonomous driving, system of automatic braking, parking sensor, and things that are related to the perception of the safety inside of the car. So from this point of view, male driver and female driver are a bit different. But speaking about safety, this is an item that involves everyone. So it's a good point to stress that we have to see about safety. The safety of the car itself is passed from many, many aspects, not last is tires. And this is something that could be very present to each and every driver.
Well, the sector of tractors usually is a man's domain. Therefore, we are all very pleased that we have heard ladies' opinions as well. Before we wrap up this episode, I'd like to remind you that Tractor of the Year is a contest and a challenge for the tractor industry where most of the major brands are competing. The awards are assigned to 4 different categories. We have Tractor of the Year, Best Utility, Best of Specialized, and Sustainable Toty. The first category, Tractor of the Year, has the following brands competing: Armatrack, Case IH, Claas, Fendt, Kubota, Landini, Massey Ferguson, New Holland, and Steyr. The second category is Best Utility with Armatrek, Case IH, Fendt, Kubota, and Valtra as competing brands. The third category, Best of Specialized, has Antonio Carraro, Fendt, Landini, and Valtra as its contenders. And the last category is Sustainable Toty, and all shortlisted tractors of the three preceding categories will run for this award. Well, we are definitely looking forward to an amazing parade of tractors. So we have come to the end of today's episode. I'd like to thank my guests, Adam Anderson and Antonio Giovinazzi, connected with us via Skype, and of course my studio guest, Carlo Bellati. Thank you very much. Well, my name is Pietro. Thanks for watching, and be sure not to miss our next episode about Agriculture 4.0. See you then. Bye bye and arrivederci.